the EPCHS. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the EPCHS.com.
A very special edition of the EP podcast on a Friday, as round one of the Battle of Evergreen Park is in the books. It took 4 days, 2 days of voting for each side of the bracket, 32 entrants whittled down to 16. And I've got your results going into the weekend as we get ready to whittle them down more beginning on Monday morning. Plus, I'm sitting down with the brand new Superintendent of District 231, that's Evergreen Park Community High School, Michael Riordan, sitting down here at the bar to talk with us on the EP podcast. The first round results, the interview, and everything here brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, who invest in the Evergreen Park community because they love this area as much as you do. Their Total Access checking account gives you free ATMs nationwide and a $300 bonus with qualifying activities. Paired with their mobile banking tools and award-winning customer service, switching to a true community bank has never been easier. My daughter the other day had a gas station not only charge her for the gas, but they put a $126 hold on her account and overdrew it. With other banks, that would have been a disaster. We got a phone call. The guy over at the branch right there at 95th and Pulaski took care of it, reversed everything, no charges, no fees. He was in her corner with the incident. That's why you want to get over there to 95th and Pulaski right now. Switch to your community bank, the First National Bank of Evergreen Park, member FDIC. All right, let's get to the results. We'll do one side of the bracket, sit down and talk with our guests, and then give you the other side of the bracket as round one is in the books in the Battle of Evergreen Park. Were there any upsets? Let's find out. First, we'll look at all those restaurants up in the top left-hand corner of the main bracket. The top seed, Porter Cullen's, taking on Toast It Is, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner spot over by the plaza. It was a rout. Porter Cullen's taking 96% of the vote and knocking out the 16 seed on that side, and they advance to the Sweet 16. Tavern in the Green will meet them there. They took care of Chai Tung with over 60% of the vote. Moving down, another blowout as Spoke and Vine with 95% of the vote over the Saucy Crab located on Western Avenue. Spoke and Vine advances, and they will take on the winner of a hotly contested matchup separated by only 3 percentage points, TT's and Unidad. And Unidad, new to the bracket this year, defeats TT's, which had won a couple of rounds last year. This year, they are eliminated right away, and Unidad will be taking on Spoke and Vine in the next round. Into the section we called Comfort Food, the very famous, very well-known Pappy's, 92% of the vote over Ichido Ramen, a newer location over on Western Avenue. Pappy's will advance, and they run into one of the closest matchup winners of the first round by just under 2 percentage points. La Cocina Jalisciense over on the northwest corner of 95th and Kedzie beats out Wojo's, an establishment right across from Brother Rice. I know a lot of people know it. They will not advance to round two. And then there was the desserts and ice cream bracket. It was close, but the local little ice cream shop, Cravings, beats Oberwise, and they will advance to take on last year's runner-up in the entire contest. Wolf's Bakery advances over Small Cakes. Again, all of these winners have to get right back at it on Monday morning. Check all of the social media for the EP podcast, especially the Facebook, the website, theeppodcast.com, and Instagram. The other side of the bracket in just moments, but let's get to our guests now. Sitting down here at the 9-foot homemade oak bar, I have a special guest who I've just been sitting here for the last couple of minutes explaining what the EP podcast is to, because he's come over from Oak Lawn to now be the superintendent of District 231. That's Evergreen Park Community High School. Michael Riordan is here. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the intro, Chris.
Thank you for coming on. So you're the big boss now. How quickly did this come together? Because I think there were people that know things about the high school or around the high school. Like, I've talked to so many people over there, and it was quick. All of a sudden, Tom O'Malley was leaving. He decided to retire, and then they were in a search, and now you're in the door. And I think they brought you out of retirement to do it, right?
Yeah, you got that right. Came off the bench to help out Evergreen Park High School, and very happy to do it. My understanding of what happened last spring was Tom made that decision to retire, and the board did what they could to do a search and see if they could find a highly qualified candidate to fill that role. They were not happy with, they didn't find that right person for Evergreen Park High School. And so they made that decision to get through this coming school year with an interim situation, and got a call. I got a call from the board president, Mary Zofke, who I had worked with previously at the Arrow Special Ed Co-op. She asked me how retirement was going. It's about a year into it by then. And then she asked me if I would be willing to come out of retirement for a little while to help out Evergreen Park. It was a very easy decision to say yes. I know a lot about Evergreen Park, working literally next door at Oak Lawn High School for all those years. I knew I was coming to a great school, a highly functioning school, a highly functional school board. And so, I made an offer. I said yes. And as of July 1st, I've been working at Evergreen Park.
Is it weird, though, to come from Oak Lawn to EP? Because you guys are rivals. Like, I know that from the years of doing the coaches show for football. I know that from having Jim Sexton down here when you're talking basketball. These are rivals. This is like somebody who was part of the Minnesota Twins organization, and now all of a sudden they're part of the White Sox. Like that, the Green Bay to the Bears, maybe not so much. Close, though. Is it weird to you?
It has been weird, but, the longer I'm there and the more I get acclimated, the more I'm feeling at home. Absolutely, those first few weeks, it was very strange. I kind of use the analogy like I was putting someone else's shoes on. They were the right size, but they didn't quite fit, or fit a little differently. And you're 100% right, Chris. There's I would call it a healthy rivalry, though, a healthy level of competition between Evergreen Park and Oak Lawn. We got a lot in common. The communities have a lot in common as well. And I would say that that healthy competition helped improve both schools, because we are always, and we do this in education, we're always stealing great ideas from each other and trying to keep up and do the best we can for our kids. And it was definitely strange. And I don't mean just on the football field or the basketball court. I mean, we were competing in every way schools compete, with our facilities, with our academic programs, with the services we provide our kids. And like I said, we were able, as school leaders, to share and cooperate with each other to continue to elevate our schools. So coming from Oak Lawn to Evergreen Park, it's been a little strange, like you said, but it's been incredibly positive. I've been so welcomed by the board, by the staff, by the teachers. I've already just every day meeting more kids, and I've met parents. And it's been a very, very warm reception. Very happy there, and going to do the best I can for the time that I'm there.
Yeah, you mentioned like the competition or even the arms race between like schools that are nearby each other. Like, I laugh because I can drive down 99th Street in between where you're at and where Brother Ice is, and I see them putting in a brand new baseball facility, and I keep laughing to myself, that has to be because Evergreen Park got a brand new one just about 2 years ago. Like, they see it and they're like, well, we got to upgrade. And so I would imagine your principal, Matt Dugan, is like sitting there, and he's going to have projects. He's going to have things he's going to want to do. Is your role in the interim, knowing that it's not going to be for a long amount of time, is your role just essentially support, listening to what he wants to do, talking with the board and trying to figure out how do I get things done for him in the time that I'm here?
I think that's a big part of it. I would say as an interim, knowing that it's a temporary, not a long-term, situation, I think my primary goal is to provide stability for the school in every which way. And that starts with the Board of Education. The superintendent's role at any school is to provide the support and guidance and provide the resources to those board members so that they are making sound decisions that lead to good governance. But aside from the board, I've also got to work with that leadership team in the school, Matt being the principal, of course, and I need to support them. I need to be a resource to them. I need to find the resources they need to be able to do the job that they want to do. And that then trickles down to the staff and ultimately to the students. And so, while my time is somewhat limited, I feel I bring a wealth of knowledge and experience, and some of the things we did at Oak Lawn may translate and be assisting things at Evergreen Park. And at the same time, I'm going to be very supportive in every way I can for what Matt wants to accomplish. And same thing, whether that's academics, athletics, extracurricular, and so forth. And I will say, you mentioned the facility. No doubt, everyone's trying to keep up with the Joneses in terms of offering the best facility resources to our kids, because that is a factor in terms of families deciding where they're going to send their kids. And we had the same experience at Oak Lawn. We're in a competitive region here in terms of trying to attract kids with skills and talent to our schools, and facilities are a big part of that. Evergreen Park High School is one of the best around. I will tell you that. And I've been to almost every public school in our area. It's hard to find a school, public or private, that has more up-to-date, better equipped and structured facilities than Evergreen Park High School. And that really goes, that credits that Board of Education and specifically Tom O'Malley. Tom led the district with distinction, I would say, over the past 7 years. And the progress that school has made, both on the inside and the outside, both in the physical sense and what we do for kids, is fantastic. And I credit Tom for that.
What was it like when you realized, and maybe you knew it before you got in there, when you realized it wasn't just one building? Because they have that athletic center that's over on 91st Street, and you go, wow, we have this too? Like, was that one of those things where you sat there and said, this high school is not just in one place, it's like spread throughout the community?
Yeah. That was a little bit of news that came out after I committed to realize that, well, by the way, you're also the CEO of this athletic complex that's a mile down the road. So that was a little bit but at the same time, what I also realized, which is really true for the district as a whole, when I say highly functioning and a smooth operating machine, that applies to that complex as well. I did, Tom O'Malley and I did some transition work to kind of prepare me to step in, and he gave me a tour of that facility. What a fantastic resource, for the community, for the school, but the greater community as well. And so, things are in great shape over there, and it's not something that's overly demanding of my time and attention. But you're right. It was a little bit of a surprise to understand that also falls under the superintendent's role.
One of the things that I find interesting about Evergreen Park High School, and on all the schools in the area, the District 124 schools as well, is that the teachers generally seem to be local. And not only local, but like they live up the block. Like Jim Ramazinski, your head football coach, lives right up the block from where I'm at right now, and I'm right near where the high school is. You have so many different people that are right here in this community. I bump into your teachers and your administrators constantly here. Was it like that over at Oak Lawn? Is that a unique thing for Evergreen Park?
I don't know, if it's unique to Evergreen Park or Oak Lawn, but I would say both schools, if you look at the percentage of staff members that are graduates of the school, it's a pretty significant number. And I'm talking both the teachers and the support staff and up and down the line. So I think that speaks really to the stability of the community, and that people that have grown up here have chosen to stay here and raise their families here. I think what you see with the teachers is kind of something you observe across the board in this community. And Oak Lawn was the same way. We had a ton of people that lived very close by, and a lot of our teaching staff were graduates as well, just like at Evergreen.
Is there something, before I let you go, is there something that you already kind of have permeating in the back of your mind? Or is this more of I'm just here, if it's not broke, don't fix it? But I mean, I would imagine you walked in and you were like, it'd be great, and you had an idea. Because I think anybody that's been in your position or is in charge of something, they think of that right away. They go, this is awesome, but it would be cool if we did this too. Do you already have that kind of formulated?
Not on a grand scale, Chris. I mean, because again, I wasn't walking into a problem situation that needed to be fixed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the nice thing about it. That's probably why you came out of retirement. If they would have been like, hey, we want you to come take over this problem school, you'd be like, I'm retired.
You got that right. And like I said earlier, it was an easy decision to say yes to board president Mary Zofke when she made the offer, because I knew I wasn't walking into some kind of hornet's nest. I knew I was walking into a great school. So on the grand scale, no, there's no major, initiatives or issues that I have to kind of come in and fix or clean up or change significantly. But I will say this, I come in as a fresh set of eyes. I see how the school deals with certain processes. For example, one thing that came up was, there's a pretty rigorous enrollment process for families that enroll their kids at Evergreen Park.
Yes.
To make sure that they are legitimate Evergreen Park residents.
Because people want to come to this school.
People want to come to that school.
Yes. And
being next to the city and other places, people will sometimes, do what they can to get their kid in the door, even if they don't legally, are not entitled to that free public education at Evergreen Park High School. And so, we had some practices at Oak Lawn because we had some of those same issues. And that's just one example of just tightening up maybe some procedures that again, I wouldn't call them broken, but maybe can elevate. And there's been a few little things like that just in my first 6 weeks that I've worked with the leadership team on, and I expect that to just continue as the year goes forward.
Mike Riordan is the new Superintendent of District 231. He's nice enough to have joined us here on the EP podcast. I don't know if you're aware of it as a newcomer to the EP scene. We're right in the middle of the Battle of Evergreen Park, all these different restaurants that are going head to head to try to figure out who's the best. Last year, Rosangela's won. Pretty close with Wolf's Bakery. I didn't think the bakery and the pizza place would be there at the end, but it was a strange fight at the end to find a winner. Do you have any favorites here in Evergreen? Do you have any place you like to hang out in?
Well, those two places you just mentioned, I've spent a lot of time in, a lot of my money in. So I'll have to get online and vote.
Okay.
And I'll probably be voting for Rosangela's.
There you go, Mike. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That music means we got to get to the other side of the bracket to wrap up the first round winners in the Battle of Evergreen Park. It is bigger and better than ever, and the voting was furious in round one across social media, Facebook, Instagram especially, and of course you can always get the updated bracket, get your next vote in. Every round is updated right at the top of the EPPodcast.com. You will see the new matchups, all of the Sweet 16 at once, Monday and Tuesday of next week. And the easiest way to vote is go to the EPPodcast.com. You'll see a little green banner right up at the top that says vote in the Battle of Evergreen Park. Click on it and pick all your winners. I'm going to save the pizza bracket for the end on this one. We're going to go over to the Plaza, the apparel at the Plaza category, a brand new one. Advancing to meet each other, Macy's beats DSW, TJ Maxx over J. Crew. They will match up to find out which is the best apparel spot in Evergreen Park before they have to advance into the Elite Eight and run into the winner of the Fitness Pod. Core Fitness and Physical Therapy advanced into the Sweet 16 over the Stone Age Athletic Club, located at about 102nd, maybe 101st in Kedzie. And Worry Taekwondo narrowly beating Aries Jiu-Jitsu to advance as well. Now on to my favorite part of the bracket, and that is beers and breakfast. Two breakfast spots going head-to-head, Bialys Cafe and the Golden Griddle. And new to the tournament, Bialys wins with 80% of the vote over the Golden Griddle. They will advance. That is the breakfast side. As far as bars are concerned, Heart's Saloon by 2 votes. That is the narrowest one. 2 votes. Beats the American Legion and advances to take on Bialys in the Sweet 16. And now, here's a little section that I think everybody's waiting for, and that is the pizza bracket. The number 1 seed in the entire tournament The winner from last year, Rosangela, is taking on Slice Factory, located over on Pulaski. No offense to Slice Factory. You ran into a buzzsaw here. 98.5% of the vote going to Rosangela's, the biggest blowout of the tournament. They, of course, advance. They take on the winner of Durbin's and Baracos. With 72% of the vote, Baracos advances for a very interesting Sweet 16 matchup as Rosangela's will take on Baracos head-to-head, something we thought was going to happen at some point last year, but it never materialized as they had to get deeper into the bracket, both of them, to get that head-to-head matchup. That is one to look for on Monday morning. Again, all of these 16 winners, congratulations, and thank you to the other 16 for competing, and thank you to all of you for voting, and it gets more intense on Monday. Monday and Tuesday, the round of 16 will be whittled down to 8. Wednesday and Thursday of next week, 8 become 4. It's moving quickly. It is really an awful lot of fun to watch everybody go out and vote. And again, social media, your Instagram, your Facebook, you're going to get notifications, you're going to get updates, and you can always just go check out the latest matchups to get your votes in at the EPPodcast.com. We will see you at our regular release on Tuesday in the middle of the Sweet 16. Have a great weekend, everybody.
It's the EP Podcast. All things Evergreen Park. It's the EP Podcast. Evergreen Park.